Hello there and welcome into the Cougar Sports Network College of the Canyons, game number 3 of the Cougar Holiday Classic event here from COC. A late start to this one for us. We apologize for the delay. LA Trade Tech had some trouble getting up here, but they are in the building and we are just about ready to get underway. So we'll get you the starting lineups between these two teams, as it's a battle between the two teams that lost in yesterday's opening games. Mount Sac lost to COC yesterday, and then Trade Tech dropped to Orange Coast College. For Trade Tech this year, it's been a tough run for the Beavers. 2-12 on the season. They are pretty good from the floor. Third in the state in field goal percentage for it, 49.7%, but just have not been able to get the wins. Mount Sac this year 7-7 under Michael Finnison in his second season as the head coach for the Mounties, as we're going to skip the particulars on the starting lineups and just get to work. So it looks like Roland McDougall, Devin Janelette, Yaniv Silvera, Julian Berzanetti, and William Guatemala, the scheduled 5 on the floor for LA Trade Tech. For Mount Sac, it's LJ McLean, Jay Milner, Dante Victor, Micah Gardner, and Matthew Brown starting things off is Trade Tech wins the opening tip. They get the first shot of the ball game. A miss from Roland McDougall. An outlet ahead to LJ McLean. A bounce pass picked off by Berzanetti, and he'll run the floor back the other way. So empty for both sides on their first possession of the ball game. Brown able to defend McDougall, and back the other way comes Mount Sac as they work ahead with the basketball. Jumper didn't go. Easy board for Janelette. And the Mounties will go back to work on the offensive, or excuse me, the Beavers will go back to work on the offensive side. Here's Trade Tech with the basketball. McDougall nearly stole it. Trade Tech gonna keep a hold of it. Three-pointer doesn't fall. Brown with a block on Silvera. Trade Tech with 20 to work. They'll put up a jumper that doesn't fall. An easy board for Milner, and he'll run back the other way. Milner had a nice game yesterday against College of the Canyons. Finished with 20 points, 3 rebounds, and assist and 2 steals. As a three-pointer, no good from Gardner. The offensive rebound, the ball, the out-of-bounds rebound, going to go to Mount San Antonio College. Neither team with a bucket so far. Both teams 0-4 from the field. It's 0-0, almost 2.5 into the game, and you expect it to kind of be a slow start. Trade Tech got about 5 minutes to warm up. Mount Sac had significantly more time. They were in the gym just kind of waiting for the game to begin, as a three-pointer from Milner is good. And our first bucket of the ball game is Jay Milner gives Mount Sac a 3-0 lead. As we were talking about, Mount Sac had a long wait for this one. They were in the gym about 20 minutes before game time, ready to go. It was a 2 o'clock scheduled start. Had to wait all the way until the 2:50 start time. As LA Trade Tech got stuck in a little bit of traffic, then went to the wrong campus. It's been quite a journey for them to get back up here today. Santa Clarita has a rebound off the miss from Janelette on the near side, and then he's going to be called for a foul. So first personal, first team. It'll be Mount Sac basketball. The Mounties, as we said, 7-7 on the year. Coming in, the defense has been the story for them this season. They've held opponents to just 39% from the floor, 29% from 3, which is in the top 20 of the state. They've just allowed too many points in terms of 74.2, and they're just not a high-scoring offense this season. They only averaged 72.6 this year. So they're right about even in those two numbers, and that's just kind of led to the 7-7 record. As McLean didn't get a shot away, he had it stripped from his hands as he went up. Brown just tried to tip it, didn't get there, and then McLean's going to be called for a foul. As running back up the floor, Berzanetti able to draw it. So first foul on McLean. Each team with a foul in the ball game as we're just about 2.5, a little over 2.5 in. Just underway if you're just joining us here from the Cougar Cage, game number 3 of the Cougar Holiday Classic. Final coming up after this one, Orange Coast College and College of Canyons playing for the 32nd Annual Cougar Holiday Classic Championship. Start time was 4, but will likely be pushed back a little bit. Here's McDougal on the dribble drive, swatted away by Brown. Back the other way comes Milner, pushes it ahead. Gardner, little runner off the glass is good. Gardner has his first bucket of the ball game. It's a 5-0 run to open up for Mount San Antonio College. Berzanetti will walk it up the floor. He'll go to work on the offensive side for Trade Tech. Stops up, takes an 18-footer, misses it strong. Rebound poked out off of a hand of each body. We'll see who it goes with. And they point in the direction of Mount Sex, so it'll be Mounties basketball. 5-0 run for the Mounties here to open up, just about 2.5 into the ball game. Here's Gardner with the basketball, will work it up to Milner. Milner will swing it back to Gardner for a wing 3 that missed off the right of his hand the whole way. Rebound pulled down by Janelett, outlet ahead to Silvera. He tries to drive, and a foul gonna be called. An offensive foul gonna be called against Silvera. So it's all going the way of Mount Sac here early on as the Mounties with a 5-0 lead and have helped Trade Tech to 0 for 7 from the floor here early on. Dante Victor with a basketball will go to work. He'll get it up to Gardner, now to Milner. Milner throws out his right hand, barking out directions as he wants to get the defense moving as he gets his team going on the offensive side. Brown a little behind the back bounce pass. He'll get it back to Brown beyond the three-point line with 8 to shoot. Now Milner work. He'll put it on the floor, kicks it up top. McLean wanted to drive to his right, he got pressure. Now we'll put up a deep 3. Hit off the side of the rim. Brown trying to get the rebound, couldn't get it. Poked it out of play, and it'll go with LA Trade Tech here. So we'll see our first substitutions of the game. Micah Myrick's coming in. Nick Hopkins coming in as well. We didn't see Nick Hopkins yesterday. Hopkins averaging 16.2 per. Did not play against COC, but back in the lineup here today. Leading scorers from Mount Sac. Trying to help the Mounties make a difference here in this one against Trade Tech as Berzanetti running the point. Slips it over to Janelett. He'll work to his left. McLean right on. Berzanetti around the screen, dumps it inside. Good job by Victor to get a hand in there and poke it away as the pass in was just a little lackadaisical. And now Milner had to stop the dribble, gets it to Hopkins. Hopkins pushes it back. Victor swings it up top to Milner. Back to Victor on the near side wing. Now Sac continues to work in a half-court set. Here's Myrick's. Generally runs the point when he's on the floor, but has Milner out there with him as well, as Milner will put up a deep 3 that's too strong off the heel of the rim. An easy board for McDougal, and he'll bring it back the other way. Nolan McDougal the third will stop and pop from 18 over the top of Victor, no good. Got his own rebound, but got bumped into, looked like by Ove Edwards, bumped him out of play. So again, Trade Tech not much doing on the offensive side. 0 for 8 so far. It's just 5-0, a little over 5 minutes into the ball game. Milner on the near side wing will send it to Victor, over to Myrick's. Back up top, Milner as Mount Sac works for an open shot for Victor. Had a hand in his face late, missed it, got the rebound though. Went back up for a left-handed jam, didn't get it, but McLean there to follow on the rebound and put it in. So 7-0 lead for Mount Sac, as we're a little over 5.5 into the ball game. Neither team shooting particularly well here early on. Sac is 3 of 12. Trade Tech 0 for 8 here as McDougal will put it on the floor, drives right to the basket, didn't get it to fall, it just rattled in and out. Victor off the rebound back the other way. Here's Hopkins. Back to Victor. swings it over. Milner wanted to take a three, instead thought better of it. He'll get it back on the near side wing, gets it inside McLean, trying to back down Jane Lett, put up a shot that Jane Lett got a hand on. Then off the rebound, Jane Lett poked it out of play, and it'll go with Mount Sac. William Guatemala checking in for the first time today. Taking off Silvera here. He's back to work. Victor, three-pointer from the wing is pure. Nice shot from Dante Victor that time. Knocks down his first bucket of the day. Scratch that. Or no, it actually is his first bucket of the day. So 4 different scores from Mount Sac. They go on a 10-0 run to open up here. Good kick out that time by Silvera, but Guatemala's three didn't fall. Work back into the offensive side of the floor. Myrick skips it to Hopkins. He wanted to put it on the floor, got double teamed, lost the ball, picked it back up, has 10 to shoot, and he's fouled trying to drive to the bucket. He and Jane Lett with some words for one another afterwards. Second foul on Jane Lett. Foul number 10. Nick Hopkins, first personal, second on the team. Already the second foul on Jane Lett. Foul number 10, Devin Jane Lett of LA Trade Tech, second personal, 13 foul. Mounties remain on 14 fouls. Angeles back into the game for the first time today. He had a nice little run late, had 10 points in 12 minutes. Most of those came late in the ball game. Yesterday against COC's 5 to shoot here. Victor with 4, now 3, has to put up a deep 3, didn't fall. Off the front of the rim and banked out. Back the other way comes Trade Tech, trailing 10-0. Trying to work the ball around. Edwards will stop back and put up an 18-footer that's no good. Victor with the rebound. Ahead towards McLean. He'll stop and pop from about 7 and knocks it down. Good shot from McLean. 12-0 run for Mount Sac here to open the ball game, as it's just been a tough struggle for LA Trade Tech. You would expect that with the late arrival, trying to get themselves warmed up. As a miss from Jane Lett on a 3. Mount Sac will quickly come back the other way. Victor trying to drive to draw a foul, could not. Jane Lett picks up the ball, outlets it McDougal. He'll try and get Trade Tech their first bucket. Was defended well by Myrick though and missed on the layup. Back the other way comes Mount Sac. Hopkins, deep 2, no good, off the front of the rim. Missed it off to the left. Just go back and forward on missed shots. Edwards thought about a 3. Instead will drop it McDougal. He jumps into the lane, puts up a little shot that falls in after it rolled onto the rim. And it breaks a 12-0 Mount San Antonio run to open the ball game. Largest lead's been 12 here. 3-pointer from Angeles, airball, missed it all. We'll get substitutions as Silvera back in, Milner back into the game, Gardner back in as well for Mount Sac as Victor and McLean will come off. Edwards will take a break as well for LA Trade Tech. Hopkins trying to drive, stops and pops from 17, no good. Hopkins, or excuse me, Milner, I should say. Or not Milner, Jane Lett, I should say. Listen, the same thing down on the floor. They got Hopkins and Milner backwards. Hopkins and Jane Lett backwards, I should say. Good pass that time from Hopkins, finds Myrick. His first bucket of the day. It's a 14-2 run to open the ball game. As McDougal back-to-back buckets inside. Largest lead's been 12 so far for Mount Sac. Give it 12 once again. Is an easy bucket inside for Gardner. A timeout on the floor. And the Mounties out in front 16-4 here early on in the ballgame.
Today's game is being live streamed via YouTube on the Cougar Sports Network. You can't make it to a future home game here. Next home game, January 4th for the Cougars. Be sure to visit csathletics.com and click Watch Live on the men's basketball live stream.
Offensive foul out of the break going to be called against Roland McDougall. His first, already the fourth against Trade Tech. Just about halfway through this first half. 16-4 run for Mount Sac here early on. Had a 12-0 run. There's a two-pointer good. 14-point lead for the Mounties, largest of the night. Shot from Gardner that falls. Here's McDougall driving, kicks into the corner. Three-pointer from Edwards, no good. An air ball, had too much on it. Hopkins pulled down the board. Milner ahead to Myrick's. Inside, Gardner, little left-handed lay is good. Making 16 points the lead for Mount Sac. So they've opened on a 20-4 run. That one turned over by Trade Tech, and it'll go back with the Mounties. Already the sixth turnover on Trade Tech. Good jumper that time from Milner. Falls in, so make it 22-4. The run for Mount Sac is here's McDougall, a running shot that's no good. Rebound pulled down by Gardner. He'll sprint it ahead on a 3-on-2, dumps it to Myrick's, and he's blocked by a couple of Trade Tech players. Jane Lett, one of them they got there. The other one was Yanev Silvera. But it'll stay with Mount Sac. Side pass Hopkins, working with the left hand, off the glass, off the rim and in. It's a 20-point lead. McDougall got blocked inside. Edwards trying to save it, makes a wild throw that Myrick's picks off, has a 2-on-1. For he and Milner, they lay it home. 22 points now, the lead is Milner with an easy bucket. This one getting out of hand here early on. Edwards will put up a three, and it's good. Ove Edwards with his first bucket of the ball game, and just the first three-pointer of the ball game for Trade Tech is a turnover on Mount Sac. Edwards, fresh off that three, will step into another one, that time an air ball. So he's 1 for 3 with 2 air balls and a knockdown shot from the corner. It stays 26-7, 19-point advantage right now. Gardner a 3, no good. Let with the rebound, Hopkins stays right on him, and Hopkins gonna be called for a foul. 90 feet away from the basket.
Foul number 10, Nick Hopkins. Personal foul number 1, second on the team.
Spurs on that inside. Jane Lett will kick it out. Silvera, deep corner three, no good. Rebound pulled down by Gardner. He'll sprint it ahead. Gets it to Myrex on the near side wing. Back to Gardner. Thought about a three. Now we'll put it on the floor. Up top to Hopkins, who thought three as well, but instead will drive. Spins. Left hand, no. But he's fouled by McDougal and will get himself to the line.
Foul number 1, Roland McDougal, his second. Fifth on Los Angeles. It's a two-shot opportunity, Nick Hopkins.
So Hopkins to the line to shoot two. Hopkins this season, from the charity stripe, 64%. Makes the first. Second fall, so Hopkins 2 for 2 from the line. Now has 5 points in the 4 points in the ball game. So we're back to a 21-point lead for Mount Sac. The largest has been 22. Edwards a three that goes up off the wiring that holds the backboard up here at the Cougar cage. Actually, it's what brings the backboards up and down when needed. See substitutions. Jalen Lattimore into the ball game. Is Gardner off? Dante Victor back up off the bench as well, checking in at the table. So here's Lattimore pointing directions out. Tremont Brewer into the game as well today for the first time today. Here's Milner working to his left. Drives to the basket, high off the glass, counted, and the foul for Jay Milner. Milner with 9 now, or 8 now in the ball game. Scratch that 9 as I read the wrong line. Picking up where he left off yesterday. One of the leaders in the state in minutes per game, and continues to put up some numbers. 7 straight games with 10 or more points, and with this foul shot could make it 8 straight. Give it a 24-point advantage. Good shot that time from Silvera off the far side. So back to a 21-point game. It's been all Mount Sac here early on, a 26-4 run to open the game. They went on a 12-0 run over the first 5 minutes. McDougal steps into the passing lane as a telegraph pass from Hopkins, but missed on the slam. Would have had an easy layup, instead missed it on a dunk attempt, and then he's going to be called for a travel, so you give up a bucket. You turn the ball over on top of it, and now you're going to get asked to go to the bench. They'll bring William Guatemala back into the game.
Countering for the Mounties, number 24, Pierce Johnson, replacing Tremont Brewer.
Tremont Brewer back off the floor. So they bring in Pierce Johnson. Dante Victor also back into the game. Here's Johnson on the catch. We'll send it to Hopkins, near side block extended. We'll try and back it down, working against Jane Lett. Wants to go with the left hand, throws up a shot that didn't go. Trying to sky for the rebound was Lattimore, but he wanted to put it back. Instead, Edwards will pick it up. Now Edwards gonna try and dribble out of some trouble. Needs to get it up across the timeline. And it's a 10-second violation on LA Trade Tech. Actually, he took a timeout just at the 10-second. violation, so they'll have to get it in. So it avoids a 10-second violation, and we'll take a break. 5:11 to go in the first half, 31-10 in favor of Mount Sac.
Visit COCathletics.com all year round for news, info, stats, photos, and live stream links related to our 17 intercollegiate sports programs. All tournament selection will take place at the end of this contest. Stay tuned. Timeout was called before the 10-second violation. Beaver ball.
Timeout was called the second before the 10-second violation, so Trade Tech able to keep the basketball. Silvera, a three that doesn't go. Victor rips down the board with one hand and outlets it ahead, but Myricks couldn't handle it. So it's a turnover. That just went through Myricks' hands. LJ McLean will check in. Nick Hopkins checking out. Roland McDougall coming back in to take over for Nove Edwards. Here's McDougall working to his right. Stops it back for Silvera. Three-pointer, no good. Rattled in and out. Jumping too early was Lattimore for the rebound. Still dove to the floor and picked it back up. Good work from Lattimore that time. He went up just a touch too early, and the rebound bounced up over him. He was way up in the air, too. Will fall down onto the floor and pick it back up. Inlet pass to Johnson. He'll put it back out to Lattimore. He'll put it on the floor. An elbow jumper with the right hand, no good. Rebound pulled down by Berzanetti, and he'll go back the other way. Sorry, it was Berzanetti who had that previous read, not Silvera. Numbers are kind of hard for me to see today. Purple on black makes it tough. Since we Trade Tech rolling with offensive or on their jerseys, foul going to be called on Dante Victor. McDougall driving to the basket to get himself to the line.
Dante Victor, first personal, third team foul. Roland McDougall, shooting two.
So McDougall to shoot two, knocks down the first. 65 or 68.5% foul shooter on the season. McDougall leading the way for Trade Tech with 5 points. Jay Milner with 10, leading the way for Mount San Antonio. Micah Gardner with 8. LJ McLean and Nick Hopkins each with 4. McDougall makes both give him 6 points on the day. Berzanetti and Edwards each have 3. It's 31-12, the lead for Mount Sac. A 19-point advantage here with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Orange Coast College just now arriving. Be a little delayed in the second start time as a three-pointer from Gardner didn't fall. Foul going to be called against LJ McLean as he and McDougall were tying up on the three-pointer.
Fourth on the team. Now in for San Antonio, number 5, Jay Milner, replacing LJ McLean.
Dougal driving, little right-handed floater in the air, didn't fall. Got his own rebound after it tipped around, and then he's fouled.
San Antonio foul number 21, Micah Gardner is first team's 5th. 2 shots for McDougall.
So McDougall, who's already 2 for 2 from the line, goes back to the line, makes the third.
Matt Brown. Replacing Johnson.
Both are good. Lead down to 17. sloppy play underneath the basket. Berzanetti comes away with it. Back the other way comes Trade Tech. McDougal an air ball 3. Brown gets a takeaway on a pass trying to find McDougal. Back the other way comes Mount Sac. Lattimore stopped the dribble, was able to get it over to Milner. Milner will go to work, 2:55 to go here in the first half. 31-17. 12-0 run to open, a 26-4 run to start for Mount Sac. 6 for Milner. He'll put up a 3 with a hand in his face, didn't fall. Brown trying to save the rebound, could not. We'll go with Trade Tech here.
Now in for the Mounties, number 20, Dante Victor. Placing Lattimore.
With his first bucket of the ball game, a 3-pointer is good, was 0 for 6 before that shot. Actually, it was a deep 2. Victor misses on a jumper. So lead all of a sudden down to 15. It was 24. Milner gets a takeaway. Feeds to Victor, gets an easy bucket. Victor with a decent start, 5 points. Timeout. Official timeout here. Looks like everything's okay, so we'll go back to work. Berzanetti will bring it up the floor for Trade Tech. Lead back up to 17. Mounties still with the basketball. Jane Lett trying to put it on the floor against Brown. We'll get it to Guatemala. Had it poked out from behind. Good play by Milner defensively. Ahead to Victor. Left-handed layup is good. Victor with back-to-back easy buckets on fast break opportunities. And just like that, it's back to a 19-point Mount Sac lead. Milner going to be called for a reach-in foul. He'll be the first against Jay Milner. Has been quiet since getting those 10 points. Hasn't had a point later part of this first half as Matthew Brown checks out. 1:16 to go in the first half. 35-16. Mounties out in front. Orange Coast and College of the Canyons both getting ready for game number 2, the tournament final here at the Cougar Holiday Classic, as Berzanetti with a good little shot knocks it down. Berzanetti now with 5. Here's McLean, wanted to drive, instead we'll get it to Victor. 60 seconds to go here in the first half. Victor driving it down, or backing it down, turns around, follow-away jumper, didn't fall. Gardner had the rebound, had it stripped out of his hands. Berzanetti quickly back the other way. Bounce past Jane Lett, up underneath the basket, lays it home. A 4-0 run for 4-0 run for Trade Tech, and now they get a turnover. Is just a lackadaisical little brain lapse that time from Hopkins and Milner. Hopkins brought it in to Milner, and then Milner stepped back out of bounds thinking he was the one to inbound it. And it creates a turnover, so it's a 15-point game, a chance to get it back to 13 here. McDougal drives, does just that, a 13-point lead. It's a 6-0 run for the Mounties, or excuse me, for the Beavers. Cut the Mounties lead down to 13. Hopkins, good move by Hopkins that time, puts it in. So just when Mount Sac needed a bucket, Hopkins does just that. Tech trying to get it back within 13, maybe 12 before the break, but Edwards misses on a turnaround jumper. With a 15-point lead, Milner speeds ahead, was blocked by Silvera. Came to McLean, had it poked out, and it'll go with Trade Tech here with 3.5. So again, Trade Tech a chance to try and get it back within striking distance, trailing by 15 at the moment. Dougal with 1 second will not get a shot off, so it'll be 37-22 at the break.
That's the end of the first half of Mounties 37.
Mounties opened on a 12-0 run and have stretched the lead to 15 at this point in time. Out of the lead as big as 14. We'll step aside. Second half action. We come back here on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back into the Cougar Cage, game number 3 of the Cougar Holiday Classic, Mount San Antonio College and LA Trade Tech. It's Mount Sac with the basketball to open things up. Mounties 37-22 lead at the halftime break. Here's Brown, a little turnaround jumper that didn't fall. Brown scoreless in the first half. Mounties were 16 of 39 in the first half from the floor. Trade Tech just 8 of 35. Neither team shooting particularly well from 3, 2 of 13 for both sides. That one goes out off of Trade Tech. It'll be Mounties basketball. For game number 2 or game number 4, the championship of the Cougar Holiday Classic will follow between Orange Coast College and College of the Canyons. Be a little later than the scheduled 4 o'clock start, but if you'd like to follow that one, make sure you switch on over. Foul going to be called on William Guatemala. Gardner misses on his first jumper of the second half, goes out off of him trying to get his own rebound. And Trade Tech back with the basketball. So much like the first half, both teams come out a little sluggish in the second half. Here's Berthanetti to run the point for Trade Tech. He's working against Milner. Drives, tried to make a bounce pass, picked off nicely by Dante Victor. He's going to go one-on-one with McDougal. Little high bounce, Euro step around him. Good shot from Victor to get around McDougal. The first bucket of the second half goes to Mount San Antonio College. McDougal trying to sky for a putback rebound off the miss from Jane Lett. And then a foul going to be called against L.J. McLean as he reached in on Berzanetti trying to get him, well, he was getting the basketball, and Berzanetti actually going to get himself to the line for a pair of shots. 15-point lead at the break. Berzanetti makes the first of 2. Second is good as well from the 80% foul shooter, and it's back to a 15-point lead. Milner with the basketball for Mount Sac. They'll work it around towards Gardner. Gardner thought the pass was going to be to Brown. Just a turnover, and I think Mount Sac escaped one there as Silvera thought he was going to run onto it and thought better of it. I think he was going to step out of bounds had he run onto it, and then misses a 3 off the inbound play. Coach Sherwin Morgan kind of fired up a little bit that he didn't take the basketball for a breakaway, but from up here it looked certainly like Silvera was going to step out of bounds and he tried to reach for that, or at least dribble it out of bounds. So. Miss off Mount Sac. Arturo Angeles checking back in to take over for Micah Gardner. Silvera to work it ahead. Trying to dribble himself out of trouble. Had 3 men around him. Angeles going to be called for a foul. Down to Jane Lett, bounce pass towards Silvera, kicks it back, Berzanetti, 3-pointer on the way, short. McLean skies for the rip, brings it back the other way. Bounce pass to Victor, but Victor was out of bounds the whole way. And so another turnover on Mount Sac. A sloppy start to the second half. Mount San Antonio, though, with a 15-point lead, 39-24. Let McDougal on the comeback. McDougal will bring it ahead across the timeline. Sac tries to double it. He gets it over to Berzanetti. Drives, tried to kick to the corner. Victor got a hand on it, so it'll stay with Trade Tech. Said a tough first half for both sides. McDougal had 10 points in the first half, so did Jay Milner. Neither team shooting well from 3. Trade Tech just 2 of 15 from downtown. Mount Sac 2 of 13. Make it 2 of 17, or 16 from downtown for Trade Tech as they continue to struggle from the floor, just 8 of 38. Mounties just 17 of 43, so neither particularly good right now on the offensive side. Turnover by Mount Sac. Silvera back the other way. Tried a little right-handed layup that didn't go. Brown pulls down the rebound. Outlets to Milner, who will bring it ahead. Got it to Angeles, back to Milner, who will slow things up as Mount Sac gets into their half-court offense. Milner around a screen, little right-handed floater, didn't go. McLean, though, with a single-handed putback. Got a little layup, an easy rebound for LJ McLean that time. For McLean, just his 3rd bucket of the ball game, already with 4 rebounds. Make it 5, so 6 points, 5 rebounds for him here. Milner not able to save it, but it didn't matter because it went out off of Trade Tech, has actually bounced before Milner could try and keep it. As McLean will bring it back in. Victor trying to swing it inside. It's going to stay with Mount Sac here. Pass from Victor looked like one that he was trying to curve off the floor in to Milner, who was cutting, or to McLean, excuse me, who was cutting, and just didn't get it to him. Some good defense from Trade Tech that time to get a hand in the way. Down to Victor, banked off the glass, no good, from a little 12-footer. Easy board for Trade Tech, and they come back the other way. Silvera, step back 3, missed. Tip rebound. Silvera going to come up with it. Neither side could come up with it cleanly, and eventually Silvera able to work in for it. Here's McDougal trying to drop for Jane Lett, and does. Guarded by McLean. Jane Lett will work. Now we'll put up a 3. Deep, no good. Brown had the rebound, and it bounced off of him, went to Milner. Milner quickly back ahead. Angeles wanted to drive, lost the handle, picked it back up. Skips it out to Brown. Brown thought about a deep 3. The Mount Sac bench was excited for a second, but he didn't take it. Here's Milner driving around the Brown screen. Easy lay-in for James Milner that time. Milner, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. 10 of those points coming in the first half. And the lead, 43-24, back up to 19. Victor alters the shot of Guatemala. Outlet ahead to Milner from Brown. Milner, far side. Angeles in the corner. He'll put it on the floor, driving. Went with the right hand, didn't get it to go. He hit the bottom of the rim. Able to pick it back up in the near side corner. Didn't step out of bounds. Kept his heels off the ground, and that's what allowed him to get a 3-pointer away, but he missed it. Let back the other way for Trade Tech. Stops his dribble inside the painted area. Inside the top of the key, actually, I should say. Got it to McDougal, who put it in. Good shot from McDougal. He's got 12 now. 7 rebounds and assists for him. Three-pointer from Milner didn't fall. McDougal able to pull down the rebound. Got it ahead to Guatemala, over to Berzanetti, who will put it on the floor to his right, trying to drive baseline, kicks it back Guatemala foul line. His pass to Silvera was wide of the mark, so Silvera just had to poke it to himself. Got it to Jane Lett, drives with 8, backs down Brown. Shot didn't go. McDougal's putback didn't fall. Jane Lett, though, able to get the rebound. Kicks it back to Silvera, who drives. A little scoop layup is good. Silvera, just his first bucket of the ball game. 0 for 5 to that point. Back to a 15-point game. Milner will get it into Brown. 2 bodies on him. Brown able to feed McLean. Blocked from behind by Berzanetti. But a bounce pass went off of Berzanetti's foot. It came to Brown, who picked it up. He swung it inside McLean, but he couldn't catch it with a one-hand. And subs coming in. Edwards checking back in for Trade Tech as a good Jane let off the floor. We'll see Gardner, Hopkins, and Myrick's back on, but a timeout going to be called by Trade Tech as they want to get their 6 guys a little bit of a break here with 13-13 to go. 43-28 lead in favor of Mount Sac.
Stay safe with the championship game of the 32nd Annual Cougar Holiday Classic immediately following the conclusion of this one. Watch in awe as the Orange Coast Pirates take on your COC Cougars. Orange Coast and Canyons coming up next.
Trade Tech basketball out of the break. 43-28 in favor of the Mount Sac Mounties. Lead was as much as 24 in the first half, but Sac just hasn't been able to run it up any further than that. Euro step from Silvera, and he drops it home. Silvera now with 4, all of them coming here in the second half. The lead all the way down to 13. A little 6-0 run for Trade Tech. Myrick's trying to decide what he wants to do. Hopkins trying to get loose on the inside. He and Jane having a battle down low. Now Hopkins with 7. His pass deflected. McDougal picked it up. McDougal had it poked out from behind by Angeles. Was able to get it back. Got it to Silvera. He'll put up a 3 that's no good. Gardner had the rebound but couldn't hold on, and instead it rolled to Berzanetti, who will pick it back up, and Trade Tech will get a fresh 30. They turn it over, though. Berzanetti just lost the ball. 2-on-1 for Mount Sac, and Janelette forced to take a foul rather than get up an easy bucket to Dante Victor. For Janelette, it'll be his 3rd foul. Just the 2nd foul for Trade Tech here in the 2nd. Dante Victor to the line for a pair. Victor 50% from the line this year. He had 3 points, 5 rebounds against COC the other day. This is on the 1st. Lead stays at 13 for the moment. State 13 as Victor misses both. McDougal able to rip down the board. That should, I believe, give McDougal a double-double in the ball game. We'll wait to see if the stats tick ahead. For Silvera. To Janelette, and will drive into the paint. 2 big steps, throws up a right-handed scoop that didn't fall. Back the other way comes Mount Sac quickly. Myrick's fouled, maybe from behind. Yeah, it's going to be against Jove Edwards.
Los Angeles foul number 21, Jove Edwards. Personal foul number 2.
So McDougal, 12 points, 10 rebounds. Give him a double-double in the ball game. Just his 2nd double-double of the season. Had one against Grossmont. Missed out on one yesterday against Orange Coast, 18-8. But picks up his 2nd double-double of the year as he's played 27 minutes today. Myrick's makes the 1st. For Micah Myrick's, 47% foul shooter on the year. Struggled from the foul line. Both. He's got 4 points now in the ball. Trade Tech trying to go back to work on offense, but Mounties get a hand on it, so it'll stay with Trade Tech. Lead back to 15, 11:45 to go here in the ball game. Off the inbound. blocked by Gardner, and then Janelett never reestablished himself inbound, just jumped in the air, tried to push it back in. So it's out off of Trade Tech, and the Mounties will get the basketball back. So the defense from Mount Sac doing their job. As we much expect, Mount Sac, a very good defensive team. We talked about it pregame, or at least in terms of limiting efficiency from the opposition offense. Hopkins gets a putback. Opposing teams just shooting 39% from the floor against Mount Sac this year. If you look today, Trade Tech just 11 of 52. They've really struggled. There's a foul way back up near the timeline. Ball was well ahead. Goes against Arturo Angeles. Cougar will send it to Janelett. He'll put up a deep 2. Rebound for Edwards. Hopkins blocks it, though, on the putback attempt. Back the other way come the Mounties. Gardner wanting to drive. Reach going to be called against Janelett. That'll be his 4th.
Trade Tech foul number 10, Kevin Janelett. That's his 4th, and the team's 4th.
4th on Janelett will give Mount Sac the basketball right in front of their bench. Myrick's to work the offense. Angeles guarded by Berzanetti, lost the ball, kicked it over to Myrick's, gets it back to Angeles, who thought about a 3. Now dribbles into trouble, and Berzanetti just takes it away from him. Berzanetti does a good job to fend off Myrick's and lays it home. Berzanetti now with 9 in the ball game. Lead back to 15. Was 17 for a moment. Hopkins is fouled. Or actually, Hopkins is the one that gets called for the foul.
4th on the team.
Just the 2nd against Hopkins. Pointer didn't fall from Silvera. Quick outlet ahead to Gardner. Tries to show off with Victor, and they do. They complete it on a little Showtime lay-in from Gardner to Dante Victor. The whistle went because Victor went sliding across the floor, so they'll clean that up real fast. Trade Tech will get the basketball at the timeline. 17-point advantage for Mount Sac. They've just been able to keep it stretched out. The Beavers have got it back within 12. But have not been able to get any closer as they actually make it inbounded from the baseline. Quickly ahead, LA Trade Tech. Nearly turned it over. That was a double dribble, but Edwards gets away with it. A foul going to be called against Milner here. It's clearly a double dribble on Edwards. Bounced it to himself once, picked it up, took 2 steps, bounced it to himself again. Put both hands on it at one point, but officials let it go. Or clear, or just simply missed it. Which, that would go unchecked in a fool, I'm sure. This was the NBA on TNT, but it is not. Zanetti makes 1 of 2. 16-point advantage for Mount Sac inside of 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the ball game. Mounties just kept it stretched out enough. Had a 12-0 run to open the game. Outscored Trade Tech 26-4 at one point. kind of kept it a little bit of a game. Not tight enough to make it dangerous, but Pierce Johnson fouled going up to the basket. The foul's starting to come heavy here. Guatemala gets called for the foul. It was not a shooting foul, so the Mounties will inbound from the baseline. Edwards going to check out as McDougal comes back in. Here's Jay Milner. Gardner now wants to drive. Travel going to be called against Gardner, too many steps. Trade Tech comes quickly back into play. McDougal trying to catch Mount Sac sleeping. One went out off of Hopkins as he went up to block McDougal, and it'll stay with Trade Tech. Zanetti with the basketball will send it over to the corner. Silvera, a three, had too much on it. Rebound goes off of Guatemala and will go with Mount Sac. And actually they re-rule it. They changed the ruling. The top official came down and helped out the bottom official and said, no, it'll stay with Trade Tech here. 16-point game. Now going to be called against Johnson down low. Either Johnson or Myrick's, one of the two. It's going to go against Myrick's. LJ McLean checking in. Take over for Micah Gardner. Started tightly by Milner. Milner almost got a steal twice there. Just couldn't come away with it. Berzanetti tried to dump it off inside, and it's just a turnover. McLean quickly back the other way. Bounce pass to Myrick's underneath the basket, but he couldn't do anything with it. So Mount Sac will reset the offense. Low scoring game, just 49-33. A little under 8.5 to go. McLean spinning. Draws the foul, will get himself to the line. Imagine some of that due to the long wait for this game to start. It started almost 55, almost an hour late. Trade Tech had a little trouble getting up here, went to the wrong campus at one point, went to the Canyon Country campus instead of the Santa Clarita campus. Made it here, had about 5 minutes to get warmed up, and then we went right into the game. For Mount Sac, the problem for them was they were just hanging around the gym for that hour. They were here about 20 minutes before game time, getting warmed up, ready to go, and then everybody sat down on the bench and had to get right back out and go back to work. So McLean makes one of two. It's a 50-33 lead. Berzanetti's three is too strong. Kicks off the heel of the rim. McLean's outlet came to Johnson after it was deflected. Sac just needs to slow it up here and get themselves in control. Here's McLean. Hopkins will get it all the way back to Myrick's. And Mount Sac will reset. Johnson put it on the floor. Blocking foul called against William Guatemala. Third foul against Guatemala. It'll send Johnson to the line for 1-and-1. So the Mounties shooting foul shots the rest of the way. Game that has pretty much been all Mount Sac. Johnson a 75% foul shooter this year. Missed on the first. Trade Tech back ahead. Dougal back to work. Silvera off the screen from Jane Lett. Gets it back to Jane Lett. Now the corner, McDougal three on the way with 7 to shoot. Doesn't fall. Milner pulls down the rebound as it fell right into his lap. He'll send it ahead. Hopkins Athletic move from Hopkins, changes directions in the air, lays it home. Hopkins, who's usually in double figures, finds himself there again today. Now has 10 points in the ball game off the bench. Jamelette, 3 from the corner is good. Jamelette's been quiet today. Quietly with 7 points. Back to a 16-point game. McLean missed, Hopkins the rebound. Milner, after the pass out from Hopkins, put up a 3 that didn't fall. Trade took back the other way. McDougal able to stay in play. It's a foul line jumper out of it for his hard work, but missed. Hopkins an easy board. He's got 6 rebounds now in the ball game, as Milner will slow things down. At this point in a 52-36 game, Michael Fennison's actually taking a seat on the bench. He's been standing up all game long. Now he's head coach with his hands on his head, his legs crossed, sitting down at the end of the bench, watching his team as they get another bucket. McLean working for that one, and the lead back to 18. Jamelette will put up a 3. Good shot. Jamelette now with back-to-back 3s. He's got 10 now in the ball game. McLean will try and match him. No. Jamelette the board. Give him a double-double now. 10 points, 10 rebounds. McDougal gonna drive and draw a foul for Jamelette. Just his first double-double of the year, believe it or not. And it averages 11 points a game, but he only averages about 3 rebounds. His best game of the season in terms of rebounds with 10. His best game previous to that was 7 against Orange Coast. Just yesterday, he had 24 against Orange Coast yesterday. That's his season high. It's McDougal to the line. Misses the first of the 1-and-1. McDougal with 10 rebounds has matched his season high in rebounds. Last time he did that against Grossmont on December 4th. And then McDougal and Myricks. And McDougal gonna get a technical foul. The official blew the whistle, got right between them. Jay Milner will take the foul shot.
At the line, Jay Milner.
Milner misses the technical foul shot. He's got 2 of them. Milner usually a good foul shooter, 85.9%. That time he snuck it in. The Mounties basketball in front of their own bench. 55-39, 5:26 to go. Hopkins will put up an 18-footer that's short. There's an Eddie the rebound, but his outlet pass knocked down by Hopkins. Good defense by Hopkins. 6'5" guard out of Montclair with a nice defensive play. He's had a decent game off the bench today. Here's McLean backing down Berzanetti, and that's almost not fair. The 6'5" sophomore McLean out of Linwood just muscling his way down there. Jamelette a 3, trying to make it 3 in a row, but missed. Hopkins the rebound, Milner ahead. Swing pass inside, bounced its way to McLean, got it back, put it up, missed everything. Pierce Johnson came down with it, kicked it back to Hopkins. And Mount Sac will take their time here with 10 seconds to shoot. McLean will put up a 3-pointer from the wing that's short. Hopkins had it fall right into his lap on a rebound. Wasn't even there to try and box out. Just came right to him. And he doesn't finish it off, but he'll get to the line. Rebounds don't come much easier than that. For Nick Hopkins, it really did just fall right into him. Kind of almost hit him in the hands. He wasn't ready for it. I didn't think he thought it was going to be there. I believe Hopkins will go to the line for 2. Just waiting to see if that's his 10th or his 9th rebound. Stats are a little delayed sometimes. Hopkins misses the first. It's 2 for 2 from the line till that point. Arturo Angeles back in to take over for Micah Myricks. Hopkins misses both. So Hopkins, a rebound off of a double-double. Jane Lett with a little fall-away jumper that's good. 16-point lead, 3:55 to go. Milner taking his time, just walking it ahead. We'll get it to Hopkins, who will put it on the floor to get around Edwards. Gets himself to the glass, puts it in. Hopkins now with 12 in the ball game. Rebound off his 4th double-double of the season. Jane Lett another 3. Jane Lett late in the ball game, but has found his stroke. Give him 15 now. Hopkins spins around Edwards. No, but the rebound put back there for Johnson. Johnson, his first basket of the day. Bounties with 4 different players in double figures. They're going to take away as McLean will run it ahead. Lost it, stops for a foul line jumper that misses. Milner with the easy rebound as it fell right to him. We'll back it off on a full reset here. Hopkins spins baseline. Got 2 bodies in the air, drew a foul, and I think it's going to go against Silvera, and it does. So that saves Jane. He was there as well. Sack will go to the line for 2 now for the rest of the game. Hopkins is 2 of 4. Missed his last 2 on his last trip. Makes the first.
Now in number 15, Jeff Jack.
It's Jeffrey Chang into the game for the first time today. Hopkins makes both.
Checking in to the bounty line, number 2,
Tremont Brewer coming back in. Hopkins will finish the day, a rebound short of a double-double. Leads the way with 14 points for Mount Sac. Carry going to be called against Jane Lett. 2:20 to go. Johnson kicks, Brewer 3, goes over the backboard, no good. Milner gonna check out, Jalen Lattimore gonna check in. So the bench pretty much empty at this point for Mount Sac. As everybody who's dressed is played. Jane Lett just runs through everybody and gets a 2-handed flush. Jane Lett some garbage time points. 63-46. Three-pointer from Angelus, no good. Mounties get the ball back. Angelus will put up another three. That time missed off the left side of the rim, and then Lattimore, or Brewer couldn't keep it in play. He and Lattimore were both trying to get to it, neither could. Janelet now with 17 in the ballgame after that last two-handed flush. A little under 90 seconds to go. Janelet again running right through the painted area. Ball came to Edwards underneath the basket as it was tipped out of Janelet's hands. He couldn't put it back. Mount Sac quickly ahead. Angelus gets a man in the air, now puts up a three, missed it long. Edwards able to come down with the rebound. His pass into just heavy space. Trade Tech somehow able to come away with it. Janelet saved it. It came to William Guatemala. Guatemala able to keep his foot down long enough to get it to Janelet into the corner. Berzanetti, three-pointer short. Berzanetti trying to save it. Chang comes up with it. And Chang gonna run ahead. Chang right towards the basket. Gets fouled and he'll get himself to the line. So Jeffrey Chang, fresh into the game, will go to the line. Hasn't attempted a foul shot all year this year. This will be his first two.
Los Angeles foul against William Guatemala, his fourth. Double bonus time. Chang.
Remember, coming up next, Orange Coast COC for the Cougar Holiday Classic Championship, the 32nd edition of the tournament. Jeffrey Chang knocks down the first of two. That is his first point of the year, and he makes both foul shots. Jeffrey Chang with his first 2 points of the season. 65-46, turnover on Trade Tech. Mounties with the ball, 37.4 to go. Mounties will win it. So they'll go 1-1 on the weekend. They'll improve to 8-7 as Angelus puts up a three that's short. Ripped down by Janelet, speeds ahead, trying to get to 19. Fouled will go to the line. A game that started almost an hour late. Another foul with 27.7 to go in a 19-point game. So the Mounties going to win this one. First. For Trade Tech, 2-13 on the year after this. Mounties will dribble out the final few seconds. Take us to the final buzzer. Mount Sac 65, Trade Tech 48. Thank you for joining us for the third game of the Cougar Holiday Classic. We hope you stick around and watch the final coming up in maybe 20 minutes. We'll see what they put up on the board. COC and Orange Coast coming up next here on the Cougar Sports Network.